Yo, what's going on, family? Um, Welcome back to this alcohol experiment with Romeo Jones. I am totally in the process of reinventing myself right now. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you know that this channel is primarily about this alcohol experiment. I discovered Annie Grace in November of 2002, right before my life was about to take another tremendous change around alcohol, if you will. And that was in 22 November. That following spring, in April of 23, I accidentally began an experiment where just simply documented the days that I drank and the days that I didn't drink using a red crayon for days that I drank, a green crayon for days that I was sober, and a calendar. Okay. And as time progressed and I began to accumulate what we would call a lot of data points, right? Most people traditionally would call this relapsing, if you will. But with this naked mind methodology, it's genius, okay? It's 21st century new age type recovering from alcohol business, okay? And I stand on that, okay? And so I did that from April 23 until April 24. Today's April 30th of 24. Okay. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put an end to this alcohol experiment part one. Okay. And I'm going to begin part two. What does that mean simply? I don't want to be long here. I want to get this video uploaded and I wanted to post the day of April 30th. I have less than 15 minutes or so to do that. So we're going to keep it short and sweet. All right. So allow me to just rant really fast here. Part two is going to be where I have enough data where I can simply look at this calendar, 366 days of data points, red and green. I believe I spent about 45%. I have the days somewhere else. About 55% of the time I spent it in the red, right? So a little over half the time of that 366 days I spent in the red, okay? Now, it's very simple for me to know. I'll share this in future videos as I create content and organize this content in my mind. But for now, done is the new perfect. I don't have to get it right. I just have to get it going. I know this from previous endeavors, whether it was catching footballs, not just blocking them, whether it was selling cars when I didn't know a freaking thing about the paperwork, the car, anything. You don't have to get it right. You just have to get it going. Well, I have enough data that I know, hey, Mr. Jones, when you're in the green, life is exponentially better. If we can just ride that for the next year and transform our relationship with alcohol through reconditioning our mind on what alcohol is, the benefits of it, the myths of it, etc., we're good. Well, listen, I just want to share something with you that has it personally. It does tie into the alcohol experiment for me. And I want to share this with you. Well, remember I told you that I discovered Annie Grace. Excuse me, I want to take my jacket off as I share with you all. I discovered Annie Grace in November of 22. Well, in April of 22, a really, really good friend of mine, whose name is Kwame, he was murdered. And he was murdered by his best friend. He was shot once in the back and twice in the head. And these aren't the city boys. These aren't my South Side boys. These are boys out from the burbs of Chicago, right? Up by the airport, Northwest. We're talking Rolling Meadows, Arlington Heights, Schaumburg, Hoffman Estates, et cetera, up north, where I'm not saying there's no gunplay here. We're still in Cook County, but where I'm not even in the South Side, okay? Why is that significant? Because alcohol is drugs and alcohol, which alcohol is a drug. They are addictive in nature. When I met Kwame in 2013, he was into psychedelics a little bit, right? A little LSD tab, maybe a little shrooms, and he'd go to a little rave and have a good time. Well, fast forward 10 years, and my boy, when he was murdered, there was Xanax in the system, Oxycontin, marijuana, alcohol, and cocaine. All right. They spiral out of control. Why did now he was murdered by his best friend, okay? And 10 years ago, I don't think fentanyl was as prevalent as it is now. So now you're indulging in these drugs and as they're manufacturing these drugs and the years are going on, they're starting to cut the drugs with the new agent called fentanyl. And, you know, you want to stop, but you're hooked in this addictive cycle, which I have been there. If you've been there, just, just say, I understand. You know what I mean? I understand. Um, well, Kwame was murdered in 22 of April. Okay. See, April is Alcohol Awareness Month, you all. And this is the best April of my life. Not only was I born in April, right? My birthday was about 6 days ago on April 24th. And um, my mother, I had my final discard from my mother in April 7th of 2009. And I completed 366 days of data points in April of 2024, all right, beginning in 23. And today, April 30th, um, Kwame, my friend, the defendant in the case, his best friend, right, and only friend, as he told in court, was sentenced. There was like 7 charges, but the state's attorney just wanted to get a conviction on 2, didn't care about the other 5, and those 2, which were granted, carries 45 years at 100%. So that's, you know, whether he gets 90 years or 45 years, the kid's 30 years old, it's 2024, you come home in 30 years, you're not even going to know how to use the restrooms. I mean, it's going to be so futuristic, it's going to be insane. But, it's my buddy there. It's a picture of him when he was a little younger. It's his dog, Kanye. We loved dearly. That was his dog, his best friend. And his shirt just simply says, "Justice for Kwame." Well, justice was served, and honestly, it wasn't the way that everything was done. I mean, it was pretty much done on Instagram and Snapchat. The kid murdered him on Snapchat, right, or Instagram, whatever it was, and the digital forensic team, subpoenaed Snapchat or whoever and got the video, and so he there wasn't even really he had a defense team, and it was embarrassing to be the defense team. That's how much he gave his lawyers nothing to work with. But that is the nature of alcohol and drugs. This has been a beautiful month for me. Um, since I've been sober since the 12th, okay, or the 11th rather. The 12th was my first day in the green, fully sober, and I have so many thoughts and so many feelings right now. What am I doing with my life? It's a gift. The fact that I'm not only, and I was close with both of them because Kwame said that the kid Sal was his buddy. Kwame's a member, right? It's members only if you're around me. But if you're a member and you bring a guest, because you're a member, I will allow your guest in our presence. You know what I mean? And this ain't gang banging or nothing like that. This is just the culture. You know what I mean? A lot of times we be friends with people that ain't our friends, right? They not even really with you, and you sacrifice it for these people. So I'm taking this thing to another level, and I am going to bring some people with me. I'm going to create a platform that I wish was available to me when I was in my late teens, and that I wish was available to me way prior to I met Annie Grace. But if this is my path and this is how I found my purpose, it is what it is. All right, I'm 34 years young. At 33, I was like, dude, this is enough. And 2 years ago, I had to look at my buddy in a casket. Now, 2 years later, I'm looking at his old buddy, or whatever you want to call it. He had natural life, all because of drugs. And as I was looking at Sal in court the last 2 days, I just I'm wondering what he was thinking. And I remember all the nights, all the mornings or nights, whatever, I would wake up in the morning like, dude, what happened yesterday? What did you do at work? What did you do at that gathering? Because you can't remember. You're kind of, you got blackout drunk, and you're not there. You all, I'm really passionate about this. I know it's all over the place, but the last 2 days was a lot. Okay. And I know this isn't specifically on how to recover, but listen, I'm early on in this. All right. This is only day 20 right now. I only missed 2 days out of the last 20 days of posting. All right. I missed my birthday, which I don't know. I went to bed a little early actually and didn't post, and maybe the day before yesterday, whatever. But life is so much better with alcohol. Is not. It's like a casino. They got these beautiful lights and these beautiful girls serving free drinks, or depending where you are. But it is going to take 9 times for every time it gives once. Yes, you're gonna get your little artificial bump and boost, right? That's gonna get your I want to say endorphins, but it's really like dopamine and feel good, happy chemicals flowing. And then you're gonna crash, right? And then you die. Sorry, it may not be literal death, but the hangovers in the morning, the shame because you know you don't want to drink, the shame because you know 100 times you said I'm gonna stop, and then you didn't keep your word with yourself, which makes you not trust yourself, etc., etc. It does not have to be this way, you all. And I am leading the way on this. And there's people in front of me who I'm following. I am not trailblazing, to be honest with you. I'm following the path that Annie Grace has trailblazed. It works. She didn't drink for the same reasons that I drank, but she fell victim, if you will, to the same substance, ethanol, aka alcohol. Listen, my buddy's on a shirt, and his buddy's pretty much on a shirt. Free Sal. Good luck with that, right? Judge C just gave him guilty on 245 to life charges, right? And I'm looking at Sal, and all you could see is like, it just has this tell me I'm dreaming look in his eyes, but he knows it's not a dream. But it's so unbelievable that one day he got high and drunk with his buddy, and then, you know, one thing led to another, one thing led to another, one thing led to another. 3 shots are fired. Kwame's dead on the scene, and you're going to jail for life. The fact that I'm not dead in jail or in jail, I always tell you all, it's a miracle. And then when I'm looking at it in my face, okay, right now I'm at my buddy Kwame's mother's house with his little brother. They're like family to me. When I didn't have a thing at different points in my life due to alcohol, there's a refrigerator, there's a couch. If you need anything, the door's open. We're going to get through this, you all. This isn't a joke, and I don't think it is going to get better. Not right now. But in the meantime, I'm still going to serve my purpose and my passion. I'm going to run. Do me a favor. If you like the video, let me get a thumbs up. Check out the description for links below on how to get a hold of me. If you want to, get on a conversation and see if there's anything that I can do to help you get to the next level. Listen, I'm just one step ahead of you, right? If I'm obese and I want to get into weight training, I might not want to go learn from Arnold Schwarzenegger right away, right? I'm in kindergarten. I'm at the basic level. I might not want to go learn from the 8th grader, right? A 2nd grader, 3rd grader, maybe even a 1st grader will be just fine. Just a couple steps ahead of you. I have the data. I have the proof. And I've had this proof for years. I just wasn't listening. Hit the like button. If you really like it, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified when I update. I'm not stopping. This is my path. This is my purpose. For now, get myself free and clear from alcohol, mentally, physically. Physically, I'm doing all right. I have been smoking tobacco, and I don't want to do that. Right? Black and miles, ew, they stink. Right? But I'm still I'm early in this process. You have to be gentle with yourself. You have to be compassionate with yourself. We go through things that we don't even know really what we're going through. Okay? And most importantly, if you know someone who this video will resonate with, maybe they struggle with alcohol, maybe they struggle with some demons that have them, they're numbing the demons with the alcohol, point them in my direction. I'm really starting the movement here, and I'm doing nothing more than shedding light on Annie Grace's work because it works. All right? With that being said, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and sign out, and I will see you on the next one. Happy ending to Alcohol Awareness Month. It's an everyday affair for me, but nationally it is celebrated here in our country of the United States. April has been known as Alcohol Awareness Month since 1987 by the National Council of Alcohol and Drug Addiction, NCADDA, something like that, you all. But Romeo Jones, it's time to put in the work. I mean, look at that. I'm not even ashamed no more. He used to say, I'm going to shoot videos when I get my tooth fixed. Let it out. Because even when you get it fixed, I know it's not the real one. But I'm going to be okay with that. Thank God that, we have that kind of technology and medicine available. Alcohol has certainly left scars on my life. Look at that. My buddy's gone. He's not here. Even if I never drank alcohol, I still lost a buddy to alcohol and drugs. Keep y'all head up. All right? You got to keep hope alive. Much love. Later.